Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben and as always I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And Pete.
Hello.
Coming to you on this cloudy, rainy Saturday afternoon, but at least the football season starts today.
And it's still 20 odd degrees.
Yeah, it's felt warm still, yeah.
The football season starts today, that's the main thing.
Hey.
That's soccer for anybody else in the world.
Football.
Yeah, but they'll think we're running around with fucking silly plastic shoulder pads on going, hoo, 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 and thinking they're hard because they can't play rugby really.
Yeah. Today, and thank you to Mike for this pick, it's been a very depressing week of research, we're going to talk about the potato famine. Bit of dark history.
Yeah.
And there is a slight conspiracy to this at the end. Or certainly a debate to be had.
Right,
Whether it was a
okay.
famine or not, yeah. That's the conspiracy.
Oh.
So before we start that, I'll read out a selection of new and returning listeners. Hastings, the United Kingdom. Haywood in California. Frankfurt am Main in Germany. Tabasalu in Estonia. Ipatinga in Brazil, I'm guessing that's how you say that. San Francisco, California. Bac Ni in Vietnam. Los Angeles in California, Aberdeen in the UK, Lakeland in Florida, Niles, Michigan in the United States, the Bronx in the US, Dublin, Ireland. You might like this one, well you probably won't, but you know.
We'll see.
We'll see. Madrid, Spain, London in the UK, Bournemouth, Oregon, Bengaluru in India, Guadalajara, Spain, Stevenage in the UK and Ashburn, Virginia. Thanks for listening, it's very much appreciated. Tell a friend, tell several friends. And also, you can like us on Facebook at Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. We're on most podcasting platforms at Cutting to the Bull in the PTA. And on YouTube, we are Apocalypse Bull. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, help us grow.
Do it.
Do it now.
You can find us on Spotify as well.
Is anyone else in them stars on Facebook? You can give stars when you're watching videos and stuff now.
No.
We're not doing that, but we still want some stars.
Yeah, give us some
Give
stars.
us gold stars, man.
Okay, let's get into it then. So, I'm going to go back in time a little bit to set the scene. Yeah? I'm not literally going back in time, by the way.
Oh.
You won't just see this swirling mass of light and I disappear for a while and then I'll come back as if nothing's happened.
Well, that's disappointing.
Sorry, I haven't mastered time travel yet. I'm working on it.
Good, good.
So, we go back to 1798 to start this tale. And inspired by the American and French revolutions, the Irish staged a major revolution against British rule. Widespread hangings and floggings followed as the rebellion was brutally put down, and the British Army increased its numbers to Ireland to nearly 100,000 men, which at the time probably would have been the majority of the British Army stationed in Ireland, with only a few stationed abroad in our colonial outposts.
Right, okay, so we were just throwing bits of army out there and taking over what was near us.
In terms of Ireland, it all goes back to Cromwell. He invaded Ireland originally. It was then under British rule, by military rule. Obviously they had the revolution, they said, we don't want this, we don't want you lot here. It was put down, we just garrisoned the shit out of Ireland.
And raped it for its natural resources.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That's what we do.
It's what we were doing at that time in history. 2 years later in 1800, the Act of Union was passed, and that made Ireland a part of the United Kingdom, and the country was placed under British imperial rule, devolving the little parliament they had in Dublin. Getting rid of that, dissolving the parliament they had in Dublin. Worth pointing out that from 1690, at the Battle of the Boyne, when the Irish Catholics supported James II, Catholics weren't exactly liked in the UK. If you're a Catholic from 1695, there was a series of laws passed called the penal laws, and they denied Catholics their rights.
The pedo laws.
Penal.
Might as well have been the pedo laws.
That included the ability to serve in the army or navy as an officer, hold government office, vote, buy land, practice law, attend school, serve as an apprentice, possess weapons, and practice their religion, and also the Gaelic language was banned.
So you weren't allowed to go to school? What?
Not if you're a poor Irish Catholic.
To be fair, have you ever heard the Gaelic language?
Not really, no.
It's very Welsh-like, because Welsh is a Gaelic tongue. But yeah, it's fucked up, it's really weird. It's quite a very difficult language as well. So it's probably not the worst thing in the world to lose that.
It is making a resurgence now in Ireland.
Yeah.
People are starting to speak it again. But for a long time you weren't allowed to. And if you were a Catholic living in the UK, you had very little rights, because The Protestants didn't like the Catholics. Remember, the monarchy is Protestant, the country's Church of England, the monarch is head of the church. You're a Catholic, you're potentially a revolutionary.
And I guess we were at war with a lot of Catholic countries at this point, weren't we?
France,
Yeah.
Italy.
definitely France, Spain,
Yeah.
of course. Most of Europe's Catholics, but 80% of Ireland is Catholic at this point. In 1600, Protestants only owned 10% of the land. By 1778, that had gone up to 95%. So they basically just drove the Catholics off their land. You can't own that, we'll have that.
Yeah. Shocking.
Although by 1829 some penal laws were repealed, the damage was done. And Ireland was basically, as a French sociologist, Gustave de Beaumont, who visited Ireland in 1835, said, he called it a nation of paupers. Because no one's got any fucking money.
That's how they made it, isn't it? That's why.
Yeah, they were deliberately
By design,
kept poor
yeah.
by design.
Yeah. Well, if they're poor, they can't do anything about it, can they?
That's it. If they're poor and they've got no rights, they can't rebel.
They can't buy weapons, they can't fight back. It's one of them, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Keep on abolishing their independence, and anyone that wants to challenge, what's going on.
Yeah, well, you can't find your next meal, it's difficult. You know?
Yeah.
That's all you're concentrating on.
Well, a lot of poor
Yeah,
Irish
really.
Catholics were farmers, and for 200 days a year they farmed for their landlord. And for 100 days a year they farmed for themselves.
Yeah, they were called cottagers, weren't they?
That's right. So they lived in these little cottages, basically. That's what they're called, cottages.
Mud huts.
Yeah, mud, wattle, daub, little cottages standing on the farms. They'd have a couple of acres of land. And because the cheapest food to buy, cheapest and easiest food to get was the potato, that's what they grew to feed themselves on.
Or potato for the Americans.
You say potato, I say potato. Let's call the whole thing off.
Or potato.
It was a joke.
Got it out your system before, Mike.
That was a joke on the tomato bollocks. Tomato!
The thing is, though, Ireland is an incredibly fertile land. And it is perfect for growing potatoes. So potatoes would see your average Irish peasant through the winter. And they're actually...
They'd eat it with buttermilk, wouldn't
Yeah.
they?
You were better...
Beautiful land as well.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
you were better fed as an Irish peasant, less malnourished, because potatoes, you can just live on potatoes, than a lot of English peasants at the time, because they were mainly eating bread.
You can boil them, mash them, slice them, chip them, whatever.
That's it.
Put them in a stew.
So harvests are bountiful. It's a fertile land. But most of that harvest is going back to England to either be sold, exported, or to feed the population. Emigration became a major thing. A lot of them left to go and live in America for the simple reason that there was work. It was a land of opportunity.
Yeah, the land of opportunity, the American
And no one was going to moan if you were Catholic
I
or
was going to
not.
say they won't be persecuted, will they?
So was there a lot going across before the famine?
Yeah, between 1815 and 1845, 1 million Irish Catholics left for America. 1 million people. Worth pointing out, during the Napoleonic Wars, a third of the British Army was Irish. 1/3. If there'd been a revolution during that period, if there's a mutiny, it doesn't bear thinking about, really.
It's a good sized country.
Sharp
really.
wouldn't have survived, would he?
Well, he wouldn't have survived without Harper, mate, would he? Sergeant Harper.
No, and he was Irish, yeah.
He was
of
Irish.
course. Yes.
I think it's a good sized island, though, isn't it? Ireland.
At this point, they've got a population of 8 million. Weirdly, their population had doubled in size. But in 1845, the famine starts, and that is it's caused by an airborne fungus called, oh god, I've been struggling to say this all week, and no matter how many times I've listened to the actual someone pronounce it, I struggle with it. Phytophthora infestans is the name of this fungus. It was carried to England from America on ships.
Is it spelt P-Y?
Yes,
You'll say
P-H-Y.
it phyto.
Phytophthora infestans, there we go, that's it. And that's, the problem is with this, is it attacked the potato, in particular the Irish lumper potato. It's not good. Winds from southern England carried the spores to Ireland, and under Ireland's moist conditions, a single infected plant could infect thousands more in just a few days.
And in turn, that'll infect millions more.
Yeah,
I should imagine you'd have to burn it, wouldn't you? Like,
pretty much. That'd be all you could do with your crop, would be just to destroy it.
Yeah.
Now, the attacked plants fermented, and they emitted a nauseous stench as they blackened, withered and died in front of the bewildered Irish peasant farmers who'd never seen anything like this. Yeah, crops failed. Crops fail all the time, but not your entire crop. In some cases.
They're thinking it's probably a plague from God.
Well, they've got some great conspiracy theories. Yeah. This is the beautiful thing. Human nature, we have not changed at all. Because as soon as something happens, we've got to find another reason why it could have happened. But I'll get to that in a second. So by October of 1845, news of the Blight reached London, and British Prime Minister Sir Robert Peel, who was a Tory, Mike, quickly established a scientific commission to examine the problem. Because it's still...
Well, at first he claimed that the Irish were exaggerating as usual to get more money.
Yeah.
It was only after the reports kept coming in worse and worse and worse that he finally acted, but he didn't tell anybody else in his party.
No.
Because his party were pretty much against helping the Irish.
They're the Tory landowning class. Some of them have got land in Ireland, but in fact, a few of them have. But they're absentee landlords. As long as they're getting their grain and their oats and their livestock, they're not bothered.
But because Peel had spent time in Ireland, and he actually started the police force, didn't he, in Ireland? Peel
set up the police forces in the UK for something. That's why they were called Peelers to start with, and that's why they're called Bobbies today. Robert Peel. You're Bobby. That's why the English coppers are called Bobbies. Yeah, the scientific commission went over there and went, whoa, that doesn't look good. I reckon we're going to lose at least half the potato crop this year.
They sent back a bone-chilling report.
Yeah.
They beefed it up a bit, actually. They said that they'd be 80%, even though it was only going to be about 40%.
They reckoned about half, didn't they?
Just so they could get some action, you know what I mean?
Now the people of Ireland are like, well, this is like fucking biblical here. What's going on? And they came up with some theories on the cause of the blight, including mortiferious vapours from volcanoes in the centre of the earth.
Okay.
So we've got some hollow earth theory going on here.
Say it again.
Mortiferious vapours from volcanoes.
Mortiferious vapours?
Yeah, from volcanoes.
That's a great name for a band, that.
Mortiferious vapours.
I quite like volcanoes in the centre of the earth as well.
That's a book.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a journey to the centre of the earth.
Of course, divine punishment. You've always got to, because Catholics, you know what Catholics are like, they love a bit of doom and gloom. Divine punishment, probably for letting the English in. My favourite one, static electricity in the air caused by those newfangled locomotives that just started to arrive. Remember when locomotives turned up, people genuinely thought they were death machines.
Yeah.
Like they caused static electricity in the air. If you were by one when it went past, you could be sucked under it or blown off your feet or something like that.
The steam ones?
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
I actually thought if you go over certain miles per hour, it'd turn you inside out or something.
It was, I'm not sure if it was like 14 miles an hour or something like that. If you go over 40 miles an hour, you'll be turned inside out there, mate.
No.
Let's restrict him.
I mean, remember when the first automobiles came out, you used to have a bloke walking in front, waving a red flag, letting people know there was a car coming.
It was going about 3 miles an hour.
It was just going about 3 miles an hour because the bloke in front's walking at 4.
How we've progressed.
I know, it's incredible, really. I love the conspiracy, but that's the thing. This is like, they just, what the hell is? They don't know about. They know that crops fail, but they've never seen anything like this. Now in England, religious-minded social reformers, i.e. the Whig Party, who were the opposition to the Tories in the government, viewed the blight as a heaven-sent blessing that would transform Ireland, ending the cycle of poverty and the dependence on the potato. I don't know how they come to that conclusion.
Well, they come to that conclusion through the Malthusian theory.
Oh, go on, explain that then.
That's what they believed. It was an economist called Thomas Malthus, and he believed that famines were natural. So a population would get too big for its food supply, and a famine was just a natural way of just
culling.
Yeah, taking the population back down. So just leave it be and let it happen.
In the grand scheme, that's what you know.
Isn't that what they're trying to do now, then? Basically,
it's right, isn't it?
Isn't that what they're trying to do now, then?
In a way,
if what we were talking about the other week is true, then that's what they're trying to do now. Then, so that theory could hold some standing. Maybe not of how it arrived, but it was purposely put in. It was purposely brought over from America, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, there's a conspiracy. Was it purposely brought over? Did he just, because they had no knowledge of how these things spread, was it just unwittingly brought over? Or did it takes is a few spores on some grain being brought over.
Yeah, they didn't even know.
And they believed it was a sin to help them.
Yeah, because you've got to get them off that cycle of dependence. So can't
God's
help.
will.
That sounds more Tory than
These
the last
guys
guy.
were fucking crazy.
Ruthless.
They believed in laissez-faire capitalism. So the market is God, which is effectively what Reagan and Thatcher believed.
Well, laissez-faire has another meaning, and that's you let it do what it wants.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Let the market do what it wants, it'll sort itself out. Well, we know that's untrue, isn't it? It just produces monopolies and
And
all the money gets
They were the
sucked to the
Whigs,
top.
were they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but also remember that. I mean, it's laissez-faire capitalism. Look at the British East India Company. It was they literally conquered India for the crown, and then the crown went, "Oh, thanks very much."
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had their own troops, they had their own armies. It was crazy. The most powerful. You know, they owned an entire subcontinent
They
eventually.
were like the most powerful navy at one point.
They had their own ships, not as powerful as the Royal Navy, obviously, because remember and in 1840, let's face it, we're not at the peak of empire, but we are the world's superpower. We've got a lot of stuff across the globe, and it's only growing daily, and we've got the world's most powerful navy. No one in Europe's fucking with us. We've got the largest merchant fleet. We're the richest country on the planet, or we suppose we should be.
And our next door neighbours are.
And our next door neighbour is starving to
Podsafe.
death. I think the food shortages in Ireland weren't uncommon, because crops do fail. But
We could have helped.
yeah, now between 1800 and 1845, 16 food shortages occurred with a modest loss of life, but this one now is nationwide. Everybody's crops are failing. All the potato crop is failing across the entire island of Ireland.
Yeah.
Every time you say that, though, it's so hard not to say it.
Now, Peel created a relief commission, didn't he,
He did.
to prevent starvation, and he imported £100,000 of maize from the US.
Which is Indian corn. He wasn't allowed to do that. Didn't tell his own party he was doing it.
No, it was against the corn laws, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the corn laws, but basically it kept the price of corn, importing corn high, so that it would keep the cost of producing corn at home low.
Yeah, so it cost an absolute fortune to import this corn. And he was like, right, we've got to get rid of these corn laws. And in the end he managed to repeal them. So basically it's a tariff. A tariff is like, say, they put 20% on the corn,
Yeah.
so it's cheaper to buy it from home to stop people buying corn and importing it from abroad, basically.
So
And,
it keeps your own sort of people producing, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes, and it keeps your peasants fed, because most of the English peasants are living on bread.
Yeah.
So you always know that if you don't keep the people at home sweet.
So he brought this corn in for them to grow so they could get make the bread and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. The problem
stop
with
the
this stuff...
starvation. The problem is that it caused a split in the Tory party, because half wanted to keep the corn laws, half
That's
didn't.
never happened before or since, has it?
There's never been any Tory infighting ever.
And the government collapsed.
Well, that's never happened again either. Hold on, wait.
We're close to that now, aren't we?
Yeah.
It has happened, doesn't it, basically?
Unfortunately, this gave the Whigs a chance to get into government, and they did.
Yeah.
And that's when the shit really started to hit the fan for the Irish.
Also worth pointing out that maize that they bought in, it wasn't great. I mean, they were selling it for a penny a pound. Right? But the problem is that no one's got any fucking money in Ireland, because they spent all their money on pawned all their belongings on A, trying to grow more potatoes, or B, pay their rent.
Yeah.
Or just trying to live.
Yeah, they've pawned their belongings, the meagre possessions they've got, they've sold, and they can't afford to buy this stuff anyway. Also, it was very awkward in a country filled with potato farmers. The skills to really make this stuff, to get this stuff into bread, weren't really there. They had to mill it twice to get it into the bread.
Yeah.
And then there wasn't enough nourishment in it for them to actually get. There's more nourishment in a potato than there was in the stuff in the bread this
Yeah.
made. It actually gave people diarrhea and sickness, and they were getting malnourished.
Oh. More malnourished.
More malnourished.
More.
I mean, 3 meals of boiled potatoes a day the Irish peasants would eat, and a working man. Now, yes, there is work. There's not a lot of work, and it's not well paid. It's mainly labouring or farming. That's it. Those are your choices.
And if you can't find that, you go in the workhouses.
Yeah, but you might eat up to 14 pounds of potato a day in 3 meals if you were working. But they've got lots of calories, there's carbs, there's vitamin C. people were getting scurvy off eating the bread, because they haven't got the vitamins. Scurvy was unheard of in Ireland up to this point. Wasn't a thing.
Well, why didn't they start planting carrots and all, you know?
All that stuff's getting exported.
They've got plenty of food.
There's loads of food.
High quality corn, that's all going to England.
The meat,
beef,
the beef, everything. It's all the oats, barley, all being sent to England. The Irish subsist on the potato. If you are a poor Irish person, you live on potatoes, and that is it.
I bet theft was rife, wasn't
they'd
it?
hang you, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Of course. And remember, you got the British Army policing Ireland. It is under military rule, effectively.
But it was still rife, though.
Oh God, yeah. But by 1846, they ran out of the maize. The supplies were exhausted. So the British government, which was the Whigs, adopted a laissez-faire approach. Let it be.
Yeah.
It'll sort itself out.
In fact, they slashed wages, so it made them even poorer, and added unreasonable targets. So
I'm
the
surprised
weak,
they weren't lynched.
so the weak and the old couldn't work because they couldn't hit the targets. They had to go into the workhouses.
But you could only fit 100,000 in workhouses in Ireland. That was an issue.
But
there were 900,000.
They died really quickly. As soon as they went into the workhouses, people died very quickly in the workhouses. There was
But there was this consistent trickle going in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there was always, they were never short of people, but there was never too many. They were always on the absolute.
At the height of it, there was 900,000.
Wow.
In a system that was designed for 100,000.
But then you'd find 10,000 of them might die that day.
Oh yeah, diseases
within that
rampant
week,
in the workhouses.
and another
cholera.
10,000 would have come in.
Yeah, you had cholera, typhus, and all these diseases spreading.
And not just that, the accidents as well with the work that they were made to do and things like that. Like they weren't made to do good, nice jobs.
No.
It was always big, nasty, heavy, dangerous work, wasn't it? Mills and all that kind of stuff.
Cotton looms and all that. And the industrialisation starts coming in as you have to get kids in there to get between the machines. They got little fingers they can unjam there.
And the amount of kids that died.
All got their fingers cut off.
That was the very least. You know what I mean? I've seen a few programmes on workhouses and they were fucking horrible places. Awful places.
Well, it was a last resort to go to a workhouse, wasn't it?
It was almost like going to prison if you hadn't done anything wrong.
Yes.
You haven't done anything wrong, but you got nowhere to go. The only place you can go is this workhouse because they'll feed you, bed you, essentially. You might have to take a bath after 600 people already have in the same water. But yeah, it was a roof. That was the thing, wasn't it? It was a roof.
When deaths and emigration started to spike a bit, the Whigs actually brought in soup kitchens, didn't they?
They did. I'll get to them shortly. The first year, the starvation deaths were fairly low, but that's only because of the maize import, and half the crop did survive in the first year of 1846. Hadn't fully spread. The potato crop had never failed for 2 consecutive years, but the blight was here to stay, and 3 of the next 4 harvests would be absolute disasters. So you got your poor Irish, you just got no other thing, sell your livestock, sell your possessions, keep the roof over your head, try and get some seeds, try to keep growing, but you've got no money.
Yeah,
so
they weren't paying their rent. Mm-hmm. So the landlords would send levellers. You hear these, Ben?
Yes, not the light-hearted Irish folk rock band, the Levellers, there's only one way... Not them.
No, these were crowbar gangs that they sent to smash the houses.
Literally, they were levellers because they had to level the house.
Yeah.
So they
kick
couldn't
them off
live
the
there
land
anymore. It didn't matter to them because they could rebuild it easy enough.
Yeah. They get new tenants.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no one's got any money. But they're still exporting boatloads of meat, grain and oats, and... In 1846, it got to the point where people were so pissed off, they're like, a mob gathered angrily at the docks near Cork and tried to confiscate a ship full of oats. British troops who were guarding the docks were pelted with stones, and they ended up firing into the crowd, killing 2 and wounding 16 others. The worse the famine got, the more troops were sent. Not food, troops. And one Irish commentator did say, well, if only they'd send us more food instead of soldiers. Food prices climbed because supply and demand. Mm-hmm. No one's got any money. I keep saying it, but I can't overstate it enough. No one's got any money. And most were now in poverty. People are starting to resemble skeletons at this point. walking skeletons, or in some cases lying there in their own filth, skeletons in most cases, because very few people die from starvation. What you die from is diseases you've got from overcrowding of people with very, very, very weak immune systems because of starvation.
Typhus was the biggest killer.
Typhus, dysentery and fever. Families died at roadsides because they'd be leaving a town to try to go somewhere else, and there was a really sort of strong sense of hospitality amongst the Irish Catholics, the rural Irish Catholics. Travellers were never turned away. They were brought in and they were fed. The problem is that just spread the disease to other parts of the country then. So not only have you got famine, you've now got a typhus, dysentery and fever epidemics raging.
The bodies was left to be eaten by stray dogs. Shocking.
That's terrible. And that, no one at this point has got anything to fight. Got no energy, no nothing, have they?
They couldn't fight back if they wanted to. They're too weak at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one's got anything to fight.
Isn't it mad how you don't learn about all this at school and that?
No, you don't. It's strange.
You don't.
I was taught about the troubles in Northern Ireland at GCSE level.
Well, we've all heard about the potato famine.
But I was never taught about this. We never went this far back.
No, but it's not that, is it? They don't focus on the negative things of the empire. It's always a positive.
Yeah.
It's like Clive of India and that, and
He was a bit of a dude, though, wasn't he?
you know what I mean? Even he was that guy in Africa.
Lance Arabia.
Rhodes, Cecil Rhodes, wasn't it?
Yeah, you don't get taught so much about him now.
I remember we did, yeah.
No, he went to a grammar school, Mike. He was probably a former old boy.
Probably.
Colonising bastard. Technically, Mike, you're part of that
Well, he
class.
taught the positive thing from them, not the atrocities that they caused.
Just think, if you'd have gone to your school in the 1800s, you'd have probably been some red-coated colonising guy. Trotting around Africa, like, beating up natives and invading their land.
Well, he's wearing the right colour already.
Yeah, he's got his red shirt on.
This is the Garibaldi red, mate. Obviously with the red coats in Italy.
Is that for helping to support Liverpool later on this afternoon, wearing red? Down the city.
Is there much different? That almost looks the same red as what the British would wear.
Might well have been. It's named after revolutionaries in Italy.
Well,
And Garibaldi.
and the biscuits. Let's not forget the biscuits.
Yeah, I was thinking about the biscuits.
As soon as anyone says Garibaldi, I don't think of a famous revolutionary leader. I just think of a biscuit.
Oh, I think of
That's
a biscuit.
that's the downside to him.
That nobody else seems to like, so I always get them. It's great.
The historian A.J.P. Taylor, have you heard of him?
Yeah. I know him well, yeah.
I've read many of his works
Yeah.
on
Well,
Well, he's a
Associated
famous
Press.
historian, and he said that Garibaldi was the only truly holy, wholesome person in history, or something like that.
Right.
Wasn't he a benevolent dictator?
Yeah.
See,
He was a
like
dictator,
I-
he was a revolutionary.
Yeah, but he probably went on to rule, didn't he?
He helped overthrow military dictatorships in Brazil and other countries, and then went and
He was a
Unified
troublemaker.
Italy.
He was a troublemaker.
he was a bit of a troublemaker, but he was a good guy apparently.
He had energy to burn.
The biscuits are quite wholesome as well, aren't they? They're not too sweet. It's got some raisins in it.
Yeah,
Flat.
a bit of fruit, you know.
Yeah.
Bit of your
wholesome.
5 a day.
God,
They're not too
if only they
sweet,
had
are
Garibaldi biscuits in 1846 Ireland.
And they've got that nice glaze.
Sheen
yeah,
glaze.
The sugary glaze. Nom 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 nom.
Oh, I could wax lyrical about those biscuits all day.
I want some Garibaldi biscuits.
I might go down the shop after this. The Soup Kitchen Act of 1847 was passed, though, because this is becoming a major problem now. Lots of people are starting to
So
die.
now they've thought, right, shit, we had best do something about this.
Yeah, but the food that they wanted to use, because they don't want to give them good food.
They want to give them potato soup, don't they?
No, they're giving them just like bad meat soup. They got the raw meat they can't export. They give because it's kind of a bit healthy. They're giving it to the Irish in soup. They're mixing it with what maize they've got left, a bit of corn, just enough to fatten it up a little bit. But it's not enough. There's not enough of it. In Clair, there was one soup kitchen for 10,000 people. Also, they demeaned them, sort of a bit of a slap in the face, as they would make them wait with bowls in their hands or out in front of them as if they're begging. And that obviously then pissed off the Catholics more, because it's like, well, not only are they occupying us, they're humiliating us now. We're begging them for food.
And of course, you're poor and starving, you've got to travel to these soup kitchens 10-20 miles.
Yeah.
Most people were dying on their way of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Well, and you got the weather to contend with.
Yeah.
Not the best weather in
No.
Ireland, is it? Let's face it.
No, and also, because this is bad soup, bad meat in it. It's caused bowel problems, which isn't good when you've got dysentery to begin with.
No.
You know, you're just literally shitting yourself to death.
Yeah.
As horrific as that sounds.
They didn't last long, did they, the soup kitchens?
No.
They discontinued them due to pressure from radical members of the party in the Whigs.
They did get their act together a little bit and started supplying £3, how much is it? 3 million Irish were being kept alive by a pound of porridge and 4 ounces of bread a day. They did get their act together slightly, but still, that's nothing but what they'd be eating if their crops hadn't failed. Yeah, still, that's, I mean, a pound of porridge and 4 ounces of bread is still starvation rations.
Yeah.
So you're keeping that population weak, aren't you?
It's enough to keep you alive, but not enough to thrive.
That's it. And people, you know, they're still trying to grow, remember, they're still trying to plant next year's crop. Because you've got to keep trying, haven't you? So you're exhausted as it is. Instead of eating 14 pounds of potatoes a day, you got a bit of porridge and some bread.
It's not going to go far when you're doing like physical labour, is it?
That's it. And even by 1847, food, including peas, beans, rabbit, fish, honey, livestock, corn, all the cornucopia of food that Ireland made, was still being exported as hunger ravaged the countryside.
Shocking.
Yes, isn't it?
Why didn't they just say you can have all the rabbits then? Let them eat all the rabbits.
They're being exported.
It's for the English, that is.
And if you get caught poaching, Claire...
We've got plenty of rabbits over here as well.
We didn't used to have though. They're not ours. They've been brought over, haven't they?
I think they came over with the Romans, rabbits, do you know?
Yeah, I know they're not indigenous.
Cats certainly did.
I mean, the Irish were seen as less than human. They called them bog rats. You know what I mean?
The thing is,
discrimination.
The stigma towards the Irish stayed for even when I was growing up.
I want to discuss this at the end,
Okay.
funnily enough, because if this does affect the Irish massively culturally and their attitude towards us. So
I've got no qualms with the Irish, by the way. I'll set this straight right now. I love the Irish. My sister-in-law's Irish. I've been out with an Irish girl. I love the Irish. Wicked accent.
very good, very nice accent, I'll give you that. Potato crops didn't fully recover until 1852.
Fucking hell, another 6 years down the line.
Yeah. And by then, 1 million had died and another 1 million had emigrated to America or England.
I've got 2.1 million.
Have you?
What, emigrated or died?
Emigrated. 80% of them went to the USA.
Well, yeah.
Or Canada.
Sounds about right, I guess. doesn't it?
Although, to get there, they had to go in ships and they were labelled coffin ships.
Yeah.
Yes, because a lot of people didn't.
50% would die.
Was it that
up
many?
to sometimes.
Yeah, and they were just tossed over
So
the
that's
side.
probably why 1 million emigrated, because that
Yeah.
2 million,
That's
only
it.
1 million actually arrived,
Maybe,
maybe.
yeah.
But they're not going to tell you how many died on the trip, are they? Yeah, 1 million emigrated.
Yeah.
Where's
Where's all the million people gone?
I'd
What
say
are the
that-
million people?
I'd say that's a good way of understanding why there's different numbers then.
And then when they got to America, of course, faced even more discrimination.
Yes.
Well, let's
Gangs of New York.
take
perfect,
a little
yeah.
step back, because when they get to America, they're all fucking sick with typhus and dysentery. They've been on these ships lying in their own filth, or you can't risk them coming ashore and infecting the city, so they went to these little timber hut hospitals on the
quarantine
outskirts,
days, yeah.
where they either died or recovered, and that was it. That was all you had. They weren't exactly well cared for, especially in Canada. And of course, before you got on a ship, you're inspected by a doctor in these days, because you're on that ship for a long time and it's very, very cramped. And if you're sick, you ain't going on that ship. Well, the doctors at England just went, "Yep, that bloke shitting his guts out there looks fine to me. Get him on. That bloke shaking from fever get him on. Looks fine to me."
And you could always blame me. You got it on, got it on the ship. On the
Right,
way
so
there,
he
can't
looked
you?
alright when I let him on.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you got to say. Looked alright when I let him on.
Not that there'd have ever been any communication like that anyway, because how would they communicate with the guys in England and say, "What are you doing?"
What did they have? Telegraph?
First transatlantic telegraph
Yeah, so
line
6
was.
weeks. 6 weeks later, they receive a telegram and say,
Well, no, it's
"What did you let these sick people on for?"
No, the
instant,
fir-
isn't it?
Isn't it Morse code?
Yeah.
And then someone write it down.
Yeah.
The first transatlantic telephone line was somewhere around the turn of the century. You're a little bit off that at the moment.
Oh, okay.
It would have been.
Because you've got to have electricity to have that. So it is literally passing messages
It would
back
have
and
been a
forth on
delivery
ships.
telegram. That's how it would have been. So yeah, it
Pigeon,
would have
carry
been.
pigeon.
Now it'd have come back
Trained
on the next
dolphins.
boat. It would have come back on the next boat. It would have been that. That's the only means they'd have had to communicate with each other. So it would have never have been raised probably, because you think those million didn't all come at one day, did they? They came over fucking months and years. So for months and years, people were dying. They were coming there really poorly. So it's not like they didn't know.
It's in 10 years, 45 to 55.
There you go. So it's not like they were unaware. There must have just been that lack of communication of saying, like, America's going, guys, what the fuck? They're all arriving here dead, kind of thing. Or
these ships are half empty. What's happened?
That never got back to England, so England never.
What if it did? They just ignored it because
they didn't care. They wanted them gone, and they don't care about the Americas, do they?
No, we're the fucking boys at this point.
I suppose we'd already been kicked out of America by this point.
Yeah, but we burnt the White House down in 1812, mate. We weren't afraid of them. We invaded America, burnt the White House down, made them sue for peace. War of 1812. They still think they won it.
So what would happen to after they come out of
Sorry, American listeners.
Oh yeah, you didn't win it though, because you never invaded Canada and we burnt down the White House. So I call that a win for us.
Go on, Claire, what are you going to say?
So what would happen to these people when they left these little hospital huts?
Oh, they were immigrants then.
Yeah.
They go in the city.
Living in the shittiest.
Yeah, living in slums. Crowded.
Head west maybe for a chance of the gold rush.
Well, they'd try and
go and live on the frontier.
They'd try and find like-hearted people, wouldn't they?
You have to set up their own communities.
Yeah, exactly. They'd find another Irishman and say, "Oh, hello."
Oh, by the way,
hello there.
You go to a relative, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. More
chances are you've got an uncle or an auntie or a cousin living over there.
Yeah.
Already, because it's not like immigration to America hasn't been a thing. You've got family over there. Oh, they live somewhere in New York, and because these places aren't that big at this point. You could probably give it if you asked like 4 or 5 people along the route, where can I get to so and so street, or where can I get to this area? Where's the Irish district? Do you know so and so?
Yeah.
You'd find them fairly within a day.
Yeah.
Very different then, wasn't it?
Very different, because everyone knew everybody.
Go from like 1 million or 2 million people in these giant cities to a few thousand, I suppose, isn't it?
New York could be no more than like 100,000 at this point.
Yeah.
Let's say, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's not. It was still being built. Remember?
Yeah.
Like Gangs of New York, though, is perfect kind of scene setting.
Yeah,
to understand what it was like in them days, because that would have been around that kind of time period, wouldn't it?
Yes, well, yeah, it would have been exactly. So you can see how they're still building New York. It's still wooden houses.
Yeah.
Now remember that a lot of them didn't just go to America and Canada. They came to England as well.
Yeah.
250,000 headed for Liverpool and completely swamped the city, bringing in disease as well. But the services in the city basically just couldn't cope with that influx of people over the space of a few weeks.
It didn't help the government didn't do anything to help. And
No.
this is why Liverpool are very sort of...
Anti-government.
Yeah, anti-government.
Wasn't Ireland used a little bit like Australia? As in, we sent away a lot of our...
I don't know.
To be honest, I don't know that. I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah. But
It's a possibility.
The reason why the Scousers don't trust the government is because they saw the way that they treated the Irish when they landed.
Right, okay.
It sort of stayed with them as a people.
And Hillsborough.
And Hillsborough doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes back to that, yeah.
But yeah, you can see they're very anti-government. They're quite. You get the feeling Liverpool would go independent if it could.
Be its own country.
Yeah, the Republic of Scousland.
Yeah, they would definitely rename it, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I think they brought
Scousberg.
a Labour government. It's just a Tory, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Liverpool
Not a
is
single
predominantly
Tory in
Labour.
Liverpool.
You don't, although I do know a Scouse Tory. I think he's the only Scouse Tory.
Okay, no. There's no MPs, is there, or councillors
No.
that are Tory in Liverpool?
No.
It's all Labour.
So yeah, but the thing is, they were just herded back onto ships and just sent straight back to Ireland to starve again. That was it.
Mm-hmm. And the ones that did stay were discriminated against.
Of course.
Couldn't get work and places to live.
And they ended up becoming notoriously thieves. Things like that, trying to survive by any means.
Well, you have gangs, you have gang warfare, you have all the things that comes with it, don't you? Like Gangs of New York, basically, but you don't...
in Liverpool. They should make that film, like Gangs of New York, Gangs of Liverpool, and get...
I couldn't watch an entire film with just Scousers.
Leonardo DiCaprio to come back over as an old man, like...
Now, to conclude this, the exact role of the British government in the potato famine and its aftermath Whether it ignored the plight of Ireland's poor out of malice or simple incompetence is still being debated, and we're going to debate it in a second. However, the cultural effects upon Ireland and the contribution to the 21st century troubles, the contribution to the troubles since and up to the 21st century is beyond doubt. This does not help British-Irish relations, does it? To put it bluntly,
Not really.
it does not. And you end up with the 1916 Easter uprising. It's still within this potato famine. It's not that far away. It's only a generation gone.
I'm not sure it's out of malice. It's out of greed.
I think there's an element of malice and an element of don't fuck with us, and now you can't anyway.
No.
I think the best that can be labelled at them is neglect.
Willful neglect.
Yeah, willful neglect.
Yeah, I think
And at worst, it's social murder.
at worst you could argue it's a genocide.
Yeah.
It falls somewhere in between that, doesn't it? Willful neglect and genocide.
But the people
By the way, don't look good.
yeah. Well, the people that still owned the farmland over there that were employing these people still could have, kept all their workers fed and, been known, like, been a trailblazer. Or they'd be like, oh, you're a soft touch, but I want these people to work for me.
Well, yeah, because the more they grow, the better, the richer I am.
Exactly, so, someone could have done that. I think the government was to blame in some part of it, but the people that owned each individual farm, instead of getting them all debts up to the eyeball or owing and then being kicked out, it could have been done a whole different way, couldn't it?
The problem was England relied on the resources it got from Ireland.
Don't say that someone wasn't getting a few pennies in their pocket. Of course
yeah,
they were.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, England relied on the resources that came from Ireland. So instead of saying, oh, well, they can keep them to help support themselves, fuck them, we still need them, otherwise we're going to be a little bit less well off.
Think of the racism.
Well, it's the richest country in the world at the time.
Yeah.
You could have imported it from somewhere else.
Yeah, but they chose not to.
Of course.
And they were like, no, that's ours. We're having that. No matter what, you guys, that's your fucking issue. Tough tits. Yeah. And what you might find happened is you might have had some trailblazers that have gone, oh, well instead of giving the crop that I should be giving to these, I will give them to my... And then they probably got killed.
Yeah,
they probably got taken out
Theft,
one way or another. So...
Well, what you got to look at is the inherent racism with it, haven't you? You've got a Protestant landowner and Irish Catholic peasant farmers. And Catholics at the time are not even in society, are they?
No. They're the lowest.
They're the lowest of the low. So you've got and these are peasant Catholics.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that? You're going to manipulate it. The British government did do a thing where they said, well, for the relief committee, if the landlords put in a certain amount, we'll match it. None of the landlords put in. Or very few of them did. Not enough to make a difference.
It's the greed, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Because remember, that excess that they make their quota, they send their quota off for export. The rest they can sell as they want. Well, food prices have gone sky high because there isn't any, or what these guys are hoarding, so they're driving the prices up by hoarding the excess they haven't sold and don't need to eat themselves. And no one's got any money. No. They can't buy the food. So it's sitting there rotting until they start making that bloody shitty soup with it.
And you've got the Whigs who think that helping them is a sin anyway.
So you can't tell me...
They were just fucked either way, weren't they?
Yeah.
So I think
it's not a chance, did they?
No.
There's definitely the element of racism and classism and religionism in this.
Massive element.
Yeah.
Massive element. And there's also the... it'll work itself out, that we don't really give a fuck.
It's not our problem.
Yeah, the
it's not our problem.
Trap.
There's what, 50 miles of water in between us? Not our problem.
We got 100,000 soldiers stationed there, what are they going to do?
That's how simply minded they were. They were probably like, doesn't affect us, so who gives a shit? We're still getting our crops that we want, so...
For export and use.
Yeah, so fuck it.
So was it a famine or was it murder?
Bit of both. I think it was famine that could have been helped, but wasn't.
Enough.
End of.
Yeah, it comes down to a Clair said it's greed, because if they just said, you know what, only send us 75%
I was going to say, do it
of
on
what
a
you're.
percentage basis
Yeah, only
based on
send
what
us-
come out of the crop.
Only send us 75% of the stuff you're gonna send us. Keep 25%. Feed the people. They didn't do that. They just like, nah. In fact, you know what? We'll have some more, please.
Yeah.
Because they got the grain laws don't say that they couldn't have passed one to say, look, you know, these people have got to have enough to live. You know?
All because
I
of
think
the
it's
potato.
greed, and what will be happening was, you know, some of the parliament will have been nobbled, or they were profiting themselves from it. You find that you know, some of the members of
the
parliament
landlords and that.
were on, you know, there wasn't
They were getting
what's
backhanders
that?
from the landlords, weren't they?
from the landlords, possibly, yeah.
It's all corrupt, isn't it? At this point, I think only 6% of people could vote, couldn't they?
Yeah, you're looking at that.
The
Yeah.
non-Catholic.
Oh no, not
No,
the
they
Catholics
wouldn't be
couldn't
able to
vote.
vote,
English,
yeah.
I mean English voters.
Just English landowners and
It was mainly
aristocrats, wasn't it?
aristocrats and landowners, and then you started getting. 1857 was the Industrial Revolution. You started getting rich industrialists getting in as MP.
When were the charters?
1852, I think.
Yeah.
And they started, because you had all these weird things with the English electoral system. There was boroughs that didn't exist but sent like 14 MPs
Lots
to
of
Parliament.
boroughs.
And then there was like places like Manchester that had one MP.
Reminds me of that Blackadder.
That's it, the Blackadder the Third. Blackadder the Third, there's an election episode, and it shows you how mad the English political system was then in terms of how you chose these people. It's crazy. It's definitely...
Was that the one with the young Prime Minister?
Yeah, Pitt the Young.
Yeah.
So, the problem is, it was sowing the seeds for a lot of problems along the way, this, wasn't it? But the British government must have thought, well, we're too powerful for them to fuck with anyway, so we can treat them as we like. And then obviously in 1916, the Easter Rebellion, when we lost all of Ireland apart from the 6 northern counties, which were mainly Protestant. And then we had years and years of domestic terrorism and what was called a policing operation. Basically since the end of the war up to 1997, 1999, something like that.
It's still not even over.
Oh, we had the Good Friday Agreement, didn't we?
It's still not fully over. It isn't. That's why we've still got military bases over there.
Bad
And that's
feeling,
why-
sort of just.
And that's why it's still fucking super dangerous.
You can't blame them, can you? The way we treat them.
But it does still go on now because it was only, we're talking within the last 15, 20 years, there was that guy that got killed delivering pizza.
Yeah, occasionally it's still going to flare up. But
There's
I
been
mean,
car bombs and things like that, isn't there?
the Good Friday Agreement
Yeah.
pretty much.
Put an end to all of it. Apart when you had that thing with the real IRA who came out shortly after, but then they seemed to bugger off.
Yeah. But it is still a threat now, so it's not finished. It's
Well,
not
it is
over.
because of fucking Boris and Brexit and the backstop, isn't it?
This is the problem now, is you've got it blows it up again because now the Irish are like, oh, you should just unify us, so why should the North suffer?
Yeah.
Because it's stuck with Britain.
Well, they're
when
saying-
the Irish are still part of the EU and going, oh, we're getting the benefits of that.
Apparently it violates the Good Friday Agreement, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that. But then again, at that point, it was never thought about, was it? Leaving the EU. It's led to millions of deaths. Not just the Irish, the British as well. Soldiers who were killed, innocent civilians who have been killed. There was car bombings in the UK. I mean, Shrewsbury Castle, the road from us, was bombed. You know, it led to a lot of deaths. And the resentment of that is, oh, if you're a young Irishman and they're trying to get you to hate the British, you haven't got to go, well, go and look at the potato famine.
Yeah, it spans generations.
Look how they treat us. Is anyone else anything else to add?
No, it was just a shocking event, and
I don't even want to say potatoes in a funny way anymore.
It didn't need to happen, did it?
No.
It didn't need to
totally
happen.
avoidable.
No.
Just like, you know, present day starvation in all countries, it doesn't need to happen. It's
No.
just not getting distributed in the right way. So you could say
Corruption.
it's still fucking
It's
happening.
all about
But it's
corruption.
just going on in a different country, you know. Yemen, you know, Jesus, they can't get food in and out there. Or,
No, we're helping the Saudis bomb now.
Yeah.
With cluster bombs that are illegal because the Saudis aren't signed up to the Geneva Convention, they can use them. We can still sell them though.
Sometimes you've got to look around and think, have a look at your allies. I mean, Saudi Arabia, for fuck's sake, one of the most...
Heavily oil producing countries in the world.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why.
Come on. It's the only reason. If it weren't
What's
for
it
that, we'd have been trying to blow them up at the same time we were fighting with Iraq and Afghanistan and that.
And they produce the terrorists for us as an excuse to go to war, so...
I think it's as well, Saudi's too big. Saudi's just too big a country for little England to take on.
I don't know, we hadn't managed to have an empire, Pete.
Yeah, it's always been going on, isn't it? It's always about people at the top getting richer and faster and not giving a fuck about the little people.
Yep.
And because it all goes, when you talk about your African nations now that are starving, etc., we send percentage of our wages every week to those countries.
Oh, foreign aid.
It doesn't matter. It's still a percentage. A percentage of our tax that we pay.
I've got no issue with foreign aid as long as it's being spelt.
The problem is that foreign aid goes to the governments who to distribute it, except they don't. They just go, oh, thanks.
Thanks, I have another 1,000 AK-47s now.
Yeah, exactly. This is the problem. And
I think I'll have myself a gold-plated limousine.
And it goes back to then. That's what it was. The rich people, the government, the landlords, people like that, they were all right. They were happy. They didn't give a shit. They had no need to help them. So they bump up the fucking prices, make more money, make them even worse.
And you've probably bought their possessions off them.
Yeah.
So you and lowballed them out as well, because you're not going to give them a good price for it, are you? They're desperate.
Yeah.
They'll take anything.
If they had anything to sell in the first place.
Well, people were selling their clothes. They were going about in rags. Probably last year's potato sacks.
Well, we didn't need these ones.
Exactly.
Just cut some holes, got a nice t-shirt.
After doing the research, I'm more inclined to agree that it's a deliberate famine. With the minimum done to help, the bare minimum to make it look as if you are doing something.
Yeah.
Queen Victoria's in charge at this point. Right? She's meant to be one of England's greatest monarchs. What did she didn't say anything about this. She didn't even mention it. There's nothing to it. She probably had an extra bit of toast at her breakfast instead.
She probably didn't know fuck all about it.
She may not have known anything about it.
Because I watched that drama on ITV about it. She did know they were all at the gates of the palace and that part, and they moved her to somewhere safer.
That could have been the first time she'd heard about it, though.
I know, but she still should have called her Prime Minister in and said, what's happening in Ireland?
And this is the This is the fundamental problem.
Well, that's the point.
I don't care now.
That's what I'm trying to say. This is meant to be. Was she considered one of England's finest monarchs? And
but yet they have
she
no
was
power.
very detached.
But they don't have much power, do they? Really, in realistic terms.
They're more power than you think, mate.
But at the same time,
you're going to go Prince Charles. They call him the Spider. That's your catchphrase, that is. You know, whenever anyone mentions the monarchy and having no power, you go, got more power than you think, mate.
But all decisions are made through the Prime Minister and government.
Yeah, but the Queen has power.
And back then, she carried a bit more weight, didn't she?
They do now. They can block any law they want in secret.
But they
so
don't.
We don't know about it.
But they don't generally, do
they?
Yeah,
they do.
Do they?
Yeah, she's done like 50 fucking laws throughout the years that they've blocked. They're basically taking money out of her pocket, and she's gone, no, not having that. We'll take that bit out. In secret, they can change the laws. How's that a democracy?
Remember, she also has to appoint a government. If she, let's say that
there has to
whoever gets in now is going to form, that's an election and wins, she can go, nah, you know what, don't like that.
I think that's more of a ceremonial thing, isn't it?
I don't think it would ever happen now, but...
He still goes and asks for permission.
I know. The whole setup is ridiculous, isn't it?
But I do think, like you say, I think that is more just for the looks, the ceremony thing, isn't it?
Well, she definitely changes laws, mate. You can look it up, yeah.
So yes, not good for British-Irish relations, and the things are still being heard today. I mean, the Irish have always been...
the butt of jokes.
The butt of jokes, the old seen as being a bit thick. Remember the old Englishman, Irishman, Scotsman jokes that were very popular for many, many years?
I've got loads of them.
You don't want to hear them.
I was born in the 80s.
I think I've heard them all. You know, they were always, what's the word I'm looking for, discriminated against.
Yeah.
Well,
as well in some cases, in some areas, as much as black people.
Yeah.
I remember Craig Charles from Red Dwarf, and he's a Scouser. He's from Liverpool, and when he was growing up, there were signs on the door saying, no Irish, no blacks.
Yeah.
So they're exactly the same, they were viewed like that.
Which is just shocking in every way anyway, but yeah, it's shame, innit?
And this obviously, the racism and the classism caused this, and it caused the disaster, and that's led to bitter resentment amongst some Irish people. And I guarantee you that, like I said, any young lad that's like they want to join, they want to get into the IRA in the 70s and 80s, who's got no real reason to hate the Brits. Look at the potato famine. Look at what they're doing now. Look at how they've always treated us.
You'd hope in 50, 70 years it could be, totally put to bed, and the IRA wouldn't, be a thing anymore, and people would understand that, they've learnt, we've hopefully learnt from it. It could.
That's the thing, we never do learn from these things, do we, as a species, and we should.
I'm hoping in 50 to 70 years that not be forgotten, be remembered, but not ever, reproduced.
See, I just remember growing up in the 80s, 90s, the Irish were the butts of the jokes, like you said, thieves, thieving Irish. It was all that
Irish gypsies and
it was all associated with your travellers and things like that. But it was always Irish associated.
You were seen as if you were Irish, you were seen as being a bit dodgy, weren't you? And usually a drunk.
Excuse me.
And uneducated.
Yeah. So
and it was awful. Like the fact that we're talking like within the last 40 years, within the last 30 years, quite happily, that was still kind of acceptable to have those views.
Yeah.
Obviously, luckily now, we're all educated enough to know that those views, they're not something I ever shared, but they're something that you heard. Do you know what I mean? But now, luckily, you don't really hear that so much. You don't hear. You don't hear Irish jokes anymore unless I tell them when I'm drunk. But no,
they'll be known as dad jokes, won't they, in the next couple of decades?
Yeah.
And then they'll just drift out of as the generations go on. They'll drift away, and
there'll be no relevance anymore.
Yeah,
no one will remember them.
No.
Or it might be the English person that becomes the butt of the joke when it's an Englishman, Irishman, Scottishman.
Oh, we already are, mate.
Yeah,
the Englishman will be the butt of the joke.
No, we totally are.
Oh, we are
already.
But we don't.
We can't even go to another country. We're known as lagerlouts and
we're terrible
football hooligans.
We're terrible abroad.
Yeah.
We steal everything. I mean, look at all them artefacts you got in the museum.
What's that? There's a TV show about it, isn't it? What something Britain's abroad or something?
Brits abroad.
Brits abroad.
Oh yeah, we just twats. We just get drunk and fight everybody because we got some mistaken sense of arrogance about how wonderful we are as a nation.
Yeah.
We were World War II, mate. I could beat you up. It's got to do with anything. You didn't win. You didn't win it. You weren't even born, mate.
They were our granddads who were fucking hard. We ain't.
Hard times beat hard people, don't they?
We ain't nothing on what our granddads were, are we? Our granddads were...
Go down pit for 12 hours a day and then go and drink 14 pints before going home and fucking the wife.
I guarantee now, mine, yours, and yours, all of our granddads at 40 would run rings around all of us. Now.
More manual labour, innit? They were fitter.
Yeah.
One of my kids come running to me the other day. They pinched their finger in a toy and they were like, ah!
It's the end of the world.
Yeah.
See, we're lucky as well. We were brought up at the end of, like, get on with it. Eat a bag of dirt before you die. Oh, brush it off.
That an era, was it?
Yeah, well, no, but it was the end of the era, I think, when you got to the millennium, wasn't it? That was the end of that. Millennials are a bunch of pussies.
It's funny how every generation thinks that, I was at the end of the era, the end of the best era when I grew up.
Well, I know that our granddad's time, that era was a lot tougher than ours, and they were a lot tougher. But luckily, we
had a Goldilocks period, do you think?
We've got central heating now. We've got indoor toilets. Our grandparents didn't have that.
No.
Double glazed, and even my dad said, well, in the winter you'd wake up and there'd be a layer of ice on the inside of the window.
My mum,
you see your breath in your house.
My
mum
had
face on it and melt it off.
They're coal fires. We have internal boilers now that heat the house and heat hot water.
If you can afford it.
If you can afford it. My face is stuck to the window.
Yeah. If you can afford it. But most people are. This winter will be tough for a lot of people.
I was going to say there's going to be frost on the inside of this.
There's going to be a lot of deaths this winter.
Honestly, get yourself a fleecy hoodie like I've got. They're fucking fantastic.
My mum grew up in a house where the toilet was at the back of the garden.
Yeah, there was
in Birmingham. Like, if you've ever watched Peaky Blinders, think those Peaky Blinders houses.
Yeah, terrace houses.
Yeah, those typical terrace houses at the bottom of the little garden.
They're often shared.
There was a toilet, and that was your bog. That was it. And your bath would
No
have been...
toilet paper, newspaper.
Yeah, there weren't like a bathroom. A bath was in the room with the
everybody else.
front room or whatever. Yeah.
Boiling the water on a kettle to throw in.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be hard this winter, isn't it? You know, people getting blankets. I've heard predictions of £500 a month energy bills.
Wow.
That's what they're saying. It's more than,
It's
people's
crazy.
rent, mortgages, isn't it?
Yep.
On the plus side, fuel went down by 10p a litre. 184.7
Wow.
litre now for diesel.
You remember when it had a quid and everyone freaked out?
Yeah.
Don't know. I remember when it peaked up to £1.30 first, about 10 years ago, and there was massive protest, and it went straight back down. And it just, ever since then, it just slowly crept back up, but nobody batted an eyelid when it was at 130.
I think we're getting a bit away from
Yeah.
that. Should we finish this?
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So I've been Ben. Thanks for listening. That's been the Potato Famine. I think we did that quite well. Bit of dark history. Like to throw the odd one in, don't we? Although it does worry me we've done 2 episodes of the spin on farming. We need to move away from that. Let's imagine some fucking aliens soon, alright?
Back to fucking alien.
Whatever, I'll fucking alien. Been watching a lot of Star Wars recently. Yeah, I'll fucking alien. Even a grey. I'd fuck a grey. I'd fuck one of the Camino cloning aliens with the long necks and the other heads.
The Orville's got some hot aliens.
I've been watching the Orville as well, yeah. Yeah, I'm
The
quite...
security officer, she's hot.
Oh yeah. She is. Anyway, I've been Ben, thanks for listening. Don't do the flavour, don't join a call.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out, may the force be with you.
I've been Claire, keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. Aim low, shoot high.